Trump just got Iran to cry uncle. They've been calling him crazy for making threats, but guess the threats worked. The strait's on its way to being opened, and Iran's promising to stop firing missiles and drones. The next 24 hours will be the test. If oil tankers start sailing through, we're on our way to officially ending this and hitting the president's 6-week time frame. If they play games, back to bridge and power plant day. The mullahs should know better. Their economy's in a depression. Heavy industry like steel, petrochemicals, and their military-industrial complex have been obliterated. People were already taking to the streets during the last economic crisis, and now it's 10 times worse. All morning, we were peppering their crown jewel, Karg Island. That's something Iran can't afford to lose. And our B-52s are already on their way to theater today, but Iran had no choice. The New York Times is also reporting China begged the Iranians to take the deal, saying their economy couldn't take it anymore. The regime was backed into a corner. The regime's battered. Their military, leadership, and their defense industrial base is basically gone. Many times, regimes collapse after the war. Iran could remain a failed rump state that violently struggles to control its population. Perhaps it's ripe for a revolution. Perhaps not. Perhaps never. The place is a mess. For us, oil prices right now cratering, and stock futures are through the roof. If a truce holds and the strait opens, the economy roars back, gas prices taper back off into the $2 range, hopefully by the fall. American deterrence is back. The world just witnessed an overwhelming display of military and technological superiority. But this isn't over. We still have Cuba, Greenland, and Canada. Just kidding.
We also have to be honest about what our adversaries are doing in the middle of all of this, right? I mean, new reports suggest that Russia provided Iran with a detailed list of 55 critical energy targets in Israel. Ukrainian intelligence says that those targeted sites were divided into critical production facilities, major urban and industrial energy hubs, local infrastructure. And the Journal this morning is out with a piece saying China helped cushion the blow of sanctions and fund Iran's war machine. We know that China relies heavily on the Iranian oil, buying 90% of the oil, non-sanctioned oil, and they go around this situation to buy that oil. So your reaction to dealing with our adversaries who have clearly supported Iran in all of this?
We should not be surprised at all by this. China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, they're all joined at the hip here. Yep. They have their own interests in this, in their geographic spheres of influence, to be sure, but they have joined together because they recognize that together they can exploit the vulnerabilities of the United States as the world's global leader. And they did that rather significantly in the previous administration. They clearly took advantage of us. But look what has happened since President Trump has come into power, and now in his second year. They've lost their base in Venezuela. This is China in particular, Russia as well. Not a military base, but their base of influence in the region itself. Right. And the possibility of Cuba going the same route, really quite significant. Russia is bogged down in its 5th year at war. They thought they could take Ukraine in a few weeks. Here it is in their 5th year. And if you just look at it, what progress have they made over the last two years? Not much at all. A little bit over 1% in additional territory. There's no doubt that they're not making anywhere near the progress that they want to make. And here's Iran. The president has taken Iran out to stop them from being a predator in the region. They don't want to lose this footprint in the Middle East. What they see is the regime in Iran getting in so much trouble, not just militarily, but economically, that it will collapse. And they will lose this foothold that they have. Yeah. That's what this is all about here. They're going to the UN to try to get resolutions here to stop the war. Okay. They want to stop the war because they're afraid they're going to lose their ally and partner here. And yes, they are all in to help Iran for sure, as you just enumerated. Yeah.
Do you think that the president is going to extend this deadline tonight, or do you think 8 o'clock comes and goes and the president said he could take out all of Iran in a matter of 4 hours? What do you think happens tonight, General, real quick?
Well, we don't have a deal until we do. And you know, the pressure is on, and it could be the last minute, things reverse and there is a deal. Okay. And as I said, we got to see the details of it. The president, if he extends it, would only do that because they're close to having something and they just need a little bit more negotiating time. Other than that, I think he keeps a foot to the metal here and keeps driving. If he says, one thing we know about this president, if he says he's going to do something, he has a tendency to do it.
That's
so
absolutely
let's
right.
believe what he's going to do, and I think the Iranians believe it.
Yeah, for sure. General, always a pleasure. Thanks so much, sir.
Yeah, great talking to you, Maria. Thank you.
And to you, General Jack Keynes.
Pascal, welcome to the show.
Hi, John. I greet you. Greetings to the United States, all you wonderful people and the audience, and of course, all the people around the world who are following you, and there's a tremendous amount of them, I learned.
Thank you very much for that. Pascal, I would like to begin with what might have been a trigger for your whistleblowing. You come from a very important Bahraini family, and your Swiss side is equally important. You're a direct descendant of a former Swiss president, as a matter of fact. You were headed toward quite a predictable career in international banking, and that's how things started out for you. When and why did that change? What exactly was the trigger?
The duty call came when I found out what they have done to us since 2020. And by the way, I have observed as a Swiss not only Switzerland going down the drain. Unfortunately, I had to observe, and that saddens me a lot, a United States of America going down the drain and becoming insecure. The last what the world wants is an insecure United States. Mm-hmm. We need a strong, healthy, wealthy, self-competent, not warmongering United States to keep peace. It's the way your president is managing things. President Trump, that is.
War in this context and in pursuit of peace is necessary.
They're not the bully of the Middle East anymore.